Danny Lauderdale from Pitt County Home Extension. Is that what you call it? Home Extension? Pitt County Extension.
Cooperative Extension.
Cooperative Extension.
Yep.
You really are you really work for NC State University, right?
That's right.
That's where
right.
your paycheck comes from.
That's where the paycheck comes from.
And but you actually are, you're the guy that if anybody's got any questions to about anything going on with horticulture, their lawns, their gardens, their farms, you're the guy. And you're here to talk about a plant sale this morning. But I was just talking about the strawberries on 903. You know, and talking to the guys out there at 903, it sounds like they were pretty lucky this year because we had such a tough winter.
We did.
Yep. But most of the farms around here fared pretty well, didn't they?
I think they did pretty well. Things are delayed a little bit by a few weeks, but
is that because of the cold temperatures all the way through March and April?
Yes, yes. But I was, as you said, I was out at Strawberries on 903 on Sunday with my family, and there's plenty of berries.
Yeah.
Out there.
They got a bunch of berries out there.
Yep.
All right, well, we'll come back to that, but let's talk about why you're really here, which is the big 2014 plant sale. It's one of the people who love to garden and who love plants. This is one of their favorite days of the year because you have a huge plant sale one day a year, every year in May on a Saturday, and it's coming up this weekend.
It is. It's this Saturday, and it's our, we call it our Pitt County Arboretum plant sale or our Master Gardener plant sale because the Master Gardeners are the ones who really do most of the work for it. I do some behind-the-scenes stuff and come on and promote it and that type of thing, but they do a majority of the labor for it and getting all the plants ready and growing them, keeping them watered, setting everything up, and getting ready for the sale this Saturday. Yep.
So if you want almost any kind of plant, you guys grow them there at the Arboretum. The Master Gardeners do, and then you sell them as a fundraiser for the organization.
They
right?
Divide things from the Arboretum that we've grown there successfully that do really well, and things from their own gardens as well. So we keep a few out there and maintain them out at the Arboretum, and then they grow them at home, and then they bring them in for the sale, get everything labeled up and ready to go. And we've got a huge list of plants this year. We've got over 3,500. I know. I think we're in the 3,900 range if I'm correct, but I know we're over 3,500, and I've got a list here.
Yeah, what are the most popular ones that people like?
Well, just give you some of the groups of things that we've got. We've got some annuals. Of course, in the annual line, one of the things that people really like, we've got a couple of different coleus, I know, which are colorful shade and or sun annuals. We've got some ferns. We've got ornamental grasses, which are always great drought-tolerant plants. We've got some ground covers. The biggest group of plants that we have by far, Henry, is the perennials, the herbaceous perennials. So they're flowering plants. Usually one particular type of plant will flower for 2 or 3 weeks out of the year, but the plants come back year after year, so we don't have to replant them. And we're definitely into that at the Arboretum is, working smart and using plants that you don't have to replant year after year. So we've got a lot of perennials there, and we've got a huge list of those herbaceous perennials that do very well in eastern North Carolina. Got a few roses. Got some shrubs, some succulent plants like sedums, which are drought-tolerant ground covers. A lot of people use those in containers where they don't want to water them all the time. Some trees, some vines, a few small fruits like blackberries, blueberries, strawberries. We've got 20 or 22 tomato varieties this year, which is a big group of tomato varieties for us. Some other assorted vegetables and a fairly large group of herbs as well. So we got a big diversity of plant material. Now,
when the master gardeners grow this at the Arboretum, if you've never been to the Arboretum, it's really neat, and it's out across the Tar River, out by the county offices out there. And I actually was out there not too long ago, and if you've never been to the Arboretum, it's a beautiful place to visit, actually. And the master gardeners work on this. How many months a year are they in there working?
They're working 12 months out of the year.
So when you become a part of the master gardener program, it's a pretty big commitment.
It is a big commitment. There's a lot of opportunities for volunteering. The Arboretum is certainly one of the main ones, and our master gardeners serve as curators for each of the garden areas. We have 1 or 2 volunteers that are in charge of a particular garden area, and then of course they have other volunteer teams that help them in
Right.
maintaining those areas. And so, yeah, they do a great job with that. They also help us in the office. If you call the extension office and have a home gardening question, most of the time you're going to be directed to the Master Gardener phone line, hotline, and they're there Monday through Friday right now from 10 a.m. to noon.
How do you become a Master Gardener?
Well, we have a course, and we have a course in the fall. This year, I think we're starting September 9th. We're accepting applications now through the summer.
Do you have to have some experience?
Well, really, a little gardening experience and interest obviously is necessary, but it's a volunteer program.
Right.
So
it's,
I mean,
it's about
we're
you
looking
coming
to
in
teach
and learning,
people.
right? Yeah.
We're looking to teach people that want to know more about gardening for themselves, but also want to help the community as well
Right.
through the extension office. And so we need people who have time to volunteer. So
Yeah.
that's a big criteria that we look at. I actually have 7 different points that I look at when I look at someone's application as to whether they would be a good fit for our program.
Yeah.
But
So that starts in September, but applications
in
are being accepted.
September.
When do you shut the applications off?
we'll shut the applications off probably about the end of July.
Okay.
I
So
think
if
is
you're
the
interested
date
in
I've
that.
got on that.
So where do you is the application online?
It is. Information about the plant sale, information about the Master Gardener program is all online at our website. It's fairly easy. pit.ces.ncsu.edu. Is
Fairly easy.
Fairly easy. Well, you know how websites are. Yeah. But also, if you search Pitt County Arboretum, you would find our extension website,
Right.
and you can find all the information
From there, you'd be able to find the application.
We've got a big highlight on the plant sale and on the Master Gardener program on the front page of the calendar. And
All right. Now, what time does the plant sale start on Saturday?
the plant sale will start at 9 a.m. for Friends of the Arboretum, and those are folks who have bought a membership for the year to help support the Arboretum, and so that's one of the benefits they get is they get in an hour early to get their pick of the plants, and so you can join that morning if you're not a friend of the Arboretum. The
What does that cost?
Standard membership is $25 for an individual, $40 for a family, and we do have senior and student rates. They're $20. And we have other levels, of course, as well, but the standard rate's $25 for a year. And so you can get in early at 9 a.m. this Saturday for the plant sale, and then the public is welcome to come from 10 a.m. to noon.
Okay.
So anybody can come 10 a.m. to noon, and we'll be ready for them. We will have most of our Master Gardener volunteers out there doing various things at the plant sale. And we don't just have plants this year as well. We have some other opportunities to help the Arboretum also. Even right now before the plant sale, we are selling raffle tickets for a southern bottle tree, which is kind of a piece of garden art. It's a metal tree sculpture that you put bottles on, kind of like stained glass in the garden. Mm-hmm. And we've got tickets for sale for that at Wild Birds Unlimited right now. And they're 1 for $2 or 3 for $5, and we'll be selling them that day as well. And then we'll raffle off the southern bottle tree at the end of the plant sale and deliver it to the winner within 20 miles of the Arboretum if they need that
Very nice.
done. So we're also going to have our garden gloves. We sell these very tough but thin garden gloves that you can really feel what you're doing. We also have a new item we're just going to trial. We have a few Pitt County Arboretum hats that we're going to have for sale.
You guys are
as
branching
well.
out.
So
You got your
we
own
are.
store out there now.
We are. I don't think we're ready to open a store, but we're just trying to broaden the
great.
offerings that we've got.
Well, it's one of the favorite days of the year for plant lovers in Greenville. It's the big Arboretum plant sale. It'll be going on at the Pitt County Arboretum this Saturday, starting at 9 o'clock again. If you're friends of the Arboretum, 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock and open to the public from 10 to noon. Sounds good. Let me switch gears a little bit while I got you in here. We
Sure.
always like to get a tip or two from you. And it's the time of year where people are beginning to mow their grass, and they're looking at it, and there's some They see some things they didn't know were out there during the winter.
Right.
Give us some. What's your best tip on dealing with people's lawns this time of year? People are finding disease in the lawns and things like that.
They are with the kind of long, cold winter or warm season grasses. Some of them are kind of struggling. Of course, many people are growing centipede grass, and if they had heavy soils, low wet areas, they may be dealing with large patch disease, which is our most common disease in centipedes, which, as the name says, kills out large patches in wet areas or if you over-fertilize the yard. So that's going on. Our soil temperatures have warmed up now to the point with these 90-degree days that the disease should not be active at this point anymore. However, the symptoms are going to remain until we get a longer period of this hot weather. So the warm season grasses need it hot, really. And so one thing I would say to people, if you've got damage from large patch or some other disease in your warm season lawn, is try to be patient. You will get some recovery as the heat comes of the summer. Try to hold off also on fertilizing, particularly centipede grass, until June. We have so many people who want to get out as soon as it greens up, because it's one of the first grasses to green up and fertilize it, and that can cause more of these disease problems. But wait till 1st of June when it's gotten really hot, and then
So you
do it at
fertilize
that
when
time.
it's hot, huh?
You do. With
Yeah.
centipede grass, you want to wait, and a lot of that is because of this large patch disease. Also, people don't realize when warm season grasses first green up, they don't have a well-established root system in the spring. Even though they come back year after year, they lose a lot of that root system over the winter. And so they usually start greening up first. They have a few roots, but then as soon as they get greened up and the temperature really warms up, then the roots really start to grow. So you got to have some root growth there before you fertilize.
So how many phone calls do you get from people who got problems with their lawns this time of year?
We get
Probably
a
bunch.
lot of problems. The calls start really heavily in March, and they came a little later this year because it was cooler, but typically March, April, and even into May, we're still getting a lot of those questions about weeds, the winter weeds that are in the lawn.
Right.
And I would also tell people about those. Just wait. Don't try to do anything really right now with winter weeds. Actually, really now, they're going to die off in the heat, and what you're starting to see is the summer weeds coming out. I've seen some already. Of course, crabgrass is already out. A lot of these other warm season weeds. I saw some prostrate spurge the other day, which is a very common summer weed that's out now. So now is the time to think about controlling summer weeds in our lawns.
Good tips for your lawn. All right, it's again the big plant sale coming up on Saturday. I hope it's a big success. Again, if you need more information or didn't get it all this morning, just Google Pitt County Arboretum and all the plant sale information will be there.
It will.
And I assume you take credit cards, checks.
We do not take credit cards.
You don't take credit cards. Well, I'm glad I asked.
Cash and checks.
So just bring cash and checks
Yep.
on Saturday morning, and IDs probably.
Yes, that'd be good.
All right, good to see you, my friend.
All right, good
Thank
to see
you, Danny.
you. Yep.
Danny Lauderdale with the North Carolina Cooperative Extension.